We are rapidly approaching the time of the Nintendo Switch presentation. We will finally learn more about the price tag, release date, some of the games that are coming for it, and of course the specifications. But in the run-up to that, we of course have had a lot of discussion about the hybrid console, and now we have some comments from 3 developers who spoke to Games TM about their thoughts on the Nintendo Switch. Now, these 3 developers are the co-founder of Drinkbox, Graham Smith, the co-founder of Rebellion Developments, Chris Kingsley, and the Zen Studios VP of Publishing, Mel Kirk. Now, of course, given that the Switch, while different to the Wii U, obviously shares similarities with the whole tablet thing, and of course, without knowing the specifications, it's hard to know whether or not the power is going to be in a similar situation in terms of it being less powerful than the current generation, yada yada yada. But the question was whether or not the Switch would be a better platform to build on than the Wii U due to it being based upon Nvidia. And this is what Chris had to say on the topic, quote, "If development is more akin to other standard ways of working, that should help make life easier for developers in general, so we can spend more time making games great and less just making games work." And as for Graham, he said, quote, "I'm not familiar with the technology being used in the Switch, but development for the Wii U was not difficult at all in our experience. Nintendo has been in the console business for so long at this point, I'd be very surprised if they did anything to make working with the Switch hardware more difficult than working with their previous consoles." And Mel said, quote, "Most developers have had experience working with Nvidia's tech at some point. Their tools and tech are really easy to integrate, so yes, I think this makes the Switch platform much easier, if not better to develop for than the Wii U." So of course some varying opinions there, and of course they can't really go too much into details because even if they are privy to some details that we are not, they are undoubtedly under like a million squillion NDAs to stop them from discussing any details. But even with that in mind, it's still interesting to hear their perspective, and I would say that Mel's comments probably most aligned with the sort of general feeling among most people that, okay, the fact that this is using Nvidia's technology, which a lot of developers have experience with, will hopefully make this a bit more of an easier experience for developers to work for, rather. Now, of course, as I've said many times now, one of the issues with the Wii U was the fact that, of course, you had the second screen, and if you're porting a game over to the Wii U from, say, like the PC or what have you, or the Xbox 360, or PS3, or Xbox One, PS4, etc., then it's going to be a lot of extra work because you have to take the second screen into account, and of course the lower power as well. Just made it a lot more hassle than it was actually worthwhile for most developers. And of course we do have a similar scenario with the Switch, with the fact that of course you have 2 modes. You've got the docked mode and then you have the handheld mode, but that's a lot simpler than, say, hey, we have to make use of this second screen, which could be used for a menu, it could be used for the map, it could be used for yada yada. It's literally just, hey, the game is going to be shown in 2 states, docked versus undocked, and it's using Nvidia technology, which we've been working with since the dawn of time. So you can kind of see the train of thought here. Now, of course, the main prong of discussion surrounding the Switch has undoubtedly been the specifications of the machine, you know. What rumours have we heard? You know, what are the rumours pointing to? Is it going to match up to the power of the PS4 Vanilla and Xbox One? And of course, a lot of the rumours it's been a bit murky, as with any rumours, but most rumours have said that it's not going to be as powerful as the PS4, and some other rumours have said, hey, it's going to be around the Xbox One, and some other rumours have even said, no, that's not even going to do that. So one of the questions is if they get the impression that the Switch is actually offering more power to developers, and unsurprisingly, their answer is pretty much, well, no. And Mel said, quote, "At the moment, the Nintendo Switch does not appear to be about system horsepower or technology that takes consoles to new heights. Rather, Nintendo is positioning the device as a home console that can be taken on the go, providing a gaming experience that can continue without interruption. While technology available to do that is already readily available, Nintendo does have a way of enticing its long faithful fan base with an exciting first-party library, which should lead to the tech being adopted popularly. Adding reinvigorated third-party support to boundary-pushing technology and raw processing power likely won't matter." Now, all that is all well and good, but of course the main concern about the lackluster power, if indeed the rumours are true, and we don't know if they are, as of course the conference is a little ways away just yet. But the issue is, developers are got to be thinking about, okay, we're developing for the PS4 and Xbox One first, because obviously that's the platform they've been working with for a while now, and then of course probably porting one of those versions over to the Switch or however the process works. The point is, if the Switch is less powerful than the current generation, then obviously it's going to be more work for the developer to actually bring their game to the system, and for some developers, again, like with the Wii U, it might be too much work for the developer, especially if they're a smaller team. You have to think about man hours, how much is it going to cost, how much work is it going to, how many hours, how much overtime have we got to do to get this done? Is it actually going to be worth it? How many people actually want it on the Switch? How are we going to make this back in sales? Yada yada yada. You can kind of see the myriad of concerns that come from the fact that potentially the Switch is going to be less powerful, and of course it's going to make a multi-platform release that comes out on the Switch more concerning, you could say. And Chris Kingsley's comments actually centered upon this, and he said, quote, "It is natural for developers to focus more on power for consoles, but it's really never seemed to be Nintendo's priority. For me, the power argument rests on getting near parity with other consoles to make it easier to bring your games onto multiple platforms. When there's a big difference in power, it's a harder job and the risk-reward equation shifts. Switch is definitely more powerful, especially for those used to mobile platforms, but perhaps not powerful enough for some, especially those used to AAA developments. These days, of course, there's quite a wide and diverse range of game types. There's a lot more opportunity for all developers." So yeah, while it's concerning, it's not exactly, ripping pieces Nintendo Switch before we even know what the machine even is. It's just a concern that we all need to keep in mind, and is definitely going to be one of the main prongs of Nintendo's sort of success and or failure, really, depending on what actually happens. As I said, one of the main components that, spelled the Wii U's doom was its power, or lack thereof, in comparison to the current generation of consoles that were on offer at the time. Of course, all of this is pure conjecture and pure speculation until we know exactly what the Switch actually is, but until then, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.